Hi, welcome to episode 158 of your favorite daily podcast, A Couple of Things, a podcast about things. Today, I'm going to just share with you guys some thoughts that I've been having around progress, reward, and all of those things. And it's based off of a conversation I had with my friend a couple of weeks ago. So, we were talking about, she had posted something about how, working hard a lot and feeling like you're not seeing the result of your hard work, you're not seeing the thing that you've done. And I replied to her and said about how progress is something that often compounds. We may not see the result immediately, but with consistency, putting in the work with what our hands find to do and focusing our attention in the direction of what we desire, eventually we'll see results. And I still believe that that is true. I do believe that. But there's a part of me that also feels like, but when though? Because I totally understood like the point of view that she had and how she was feeling, because it's also something that I sometimes find myself in that space thinking about. I've been working for over 10 years, which I've talked about on this podcast, one of the earlier episodes. And I just think about like how where I am, and if where I am is reflective, or I don't know if that's the right word, like truly reflects the work that I've put in over the past 10 years. And if not, why is there that mismatch? For me, for the most part, it feels like there's a mismatch. It doesn't feel like I don't feel like I'm where I should be generally with respect to like why I am in my career and finances and all of those things, just based off of the fact that I've been working very hard for over 10 years, the better part of my life, like well, the better part of my adult life, basically. Hi, thanks for listening so far. Just to pop in to say, please send me questions. I'm running out of things to talk about, so send me questions or suggestions. The link to do that is in the description box of the episode. Also, subscribe. Thanks. Okay, let's get back into the episode. And it's something that's kind of hard to admit to yourself, because then it seems like complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm happy with my life. And I do this thing where I reflect every month, and then I have like deeper retreats every quarter. I try to, and I'm actually happy with my life. I'm not dissatisfied in life. But then I also think about how, like, again, is the state that I am in, is it really reflective? If like 1 + 1 is equal to, is my 1 + 1 equating to 2? It doesn't really feel like that sometimes. Once in a while, I have these thoughts. And something that has been comforting me or making me feel not down about the whole thing is understanding that it is true that progress is something that compounds. And sometimes we don't actually really know what progress looks like, or progress looks like something that a different way than we imagine or expect it to be. And I kind of touched on this on the episode where I talked about how do you define success. Because in some context, it's easy to say this is what success looks like. So if you're an athlete, if you run faster today than you did yesterday, then you're like, oh, there's progress. Or if you're lifting weights in the gym and you can lift heavier than you lifted yesterday, when I say yesterday, I don't mean literally yesterday, but like previously, then you're making progress. If you can do 50 push-ups today where before you could only do 40 or 30, that's progress. But in some other places, it's hard to actually define what progress looks like. And so that's why I say I'm not dissatisfied with my life, because what else would it be? Like, I mean, and I'm not just talking financially, not like just money wise, but I don't know if you guys get what I mean. But the point I'm trying to make is that what does it really mean to say that you're making progress in this part of your life, especially when it's not so clear cut and direct as with physical fitness or whatever. Again, this is one of those things where I don't have the answer. I'm just sharing my thoughts as I'm thinking it. And this is not like something that I spent a lot of time thinking about. I only just remembered it and I only just remembered the conversation I had with my friend. I was thinking of what to talk about for the podcast today, and so I decided to talk about it. But from the conversation that we had, and something that also keeps me grounded in this phase, is remembering that I don't just work. And I think I talked about it in the episode on the purpose of work. Work is a way for me to glorify God, and I'm doing that. So me doing that is an expression of that, and knowing that in Proverbs it says that in every labor there's profit. That means there's profit in everything that I do. It is profitable for me to do something, even though that profit may not look the way that I think it should look, or in my mind, what I believe it should be. I do know that there's profit in every labor that I do, because God sees everything, and God is the one who will ultimately be the rewarder of everything. So even if it doesn't seem like there is a reward, or the reward that I'm receiving is not what I want to receive or what I think I should be receiving, I can keep doing my work diligently, because I know that it is unto God. And I can also be thankful and remind myself of the things that I've actually done and received through my work, or through the things that I do, and through just being a person and all the things in my life, not just even in work alone, but in my family, my loved ones, the people that love me, people that I love. Yesterday I woke up with the thought of how I love my friends, and my friends love me, and I'm so loved, and I was so happy. And so things like that is where I'm also putting my mind on when I start to feel this way of like, well, where is the result of all my hard work? Because life is not just all about that. There's more to life than that. The final thing that is making me or helping me rest in this place, even where sometimes there might be the sense of dissatisfaction, is the knowledge and the understanding that do I really believe that all things work together for my good? Yes, if I really believe that all things work together for my good, even in the places where I'm feeling like I'm not being rewarded or appreciated enough for my efforts, I can still believe that God is still working that for my good. So it's either I believe that He is or He isn't, and I believe that He is. So it doesn't matter that I like what I feel about what my emotions are saying about it, or I can feel that disappointment, I can acknowledge it, but then I can also tell myself and remind myself, I know that indeed God works everything together for my good and for His glory, of which those two things are not mutually exclusive. So even though this doesn't fit into the picture of what I thought would be good, it is still going to work out for my good. So I don't have any like philosophical way to end this. I just think that sometimes I think it's normal to sometimes have this feeling of, okay, but I've been doing all of this, where is the reward of it? Like, what's the outcome of that? Where's the fruit of the labor, right? And I think it's also important to not remain there, to not just then become weighed down. And because the thing that happens when you stay in that place is despair, and despair means that you then don't want to put in any effort anymore, because it feels like there's no point. But for me, the thing that, like I said, that keeps me going is remembering that everything I do unto God, and He's the one who ultimately rewards, and He's just and faithful. So I can rest in that, even though once in a while these feelings and thoughts may bubble up. But at the end of the day, I know that my life is in God's hands, and I trust Him with it, and I can move with that confidence. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful, or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye.